this will be a huge recall for when I come back in the future to be able to find some of the answers that were true, were not true, some of the things that I will do and bring back to you. This is awareness documentation. Rah. Alright, so I am literally going to do an ad walk right here, right now. And you know what's really funny is that when I originally envisioned the ad walk, when I came up with that name a while back, like I was thinking, come walk with me, come walk with me. And somebody, like a little drone or something, you know, going through with you on a hike, like walking through mountains in these paradise-like views where you're just talking into that camera flying in front of you, around you, and you're showing people your life, you know, and you're just walking in your journey, which would be your freedom journey. And it's really amazing to be able to open up with yourself in the world and be able to market and do all these cool things, because technology is really going to be advancing at a rapid rate, and you don't necessarily have to walk around with a camera like this in the future, because we're going to have cameras everywhere, literally being a part of everything that we do. So this whole process is going to be really, really, really cool. Excuse me, what is the date today and the day?
17th.
Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay, August 17th. Thank you very much.
No problem, man.
All right, so today is August 17th, 2019, and it is a Saturday. Some of the insights that are coming into my mind are so deep, so extreme, that I just want to be able to document them and literally get it off my mind, because I haven't done an ad walk in a little bit of a while. Some of the things that I'm thinking up right now are pretty explosive, and they're literally going to detonate and help bring the world together, because we're blowing down the buildings, we're blowing down all the terrain and the barriers that we thought we believed in, and then we're reconstructing it from the bottom up. So this is going to be about releasing my new album, and I'm literally coming up with plans as we speak. Like, my mind is in momentum, it's in rotation, and I just want to get this freaking thing out there. So if you don't know, the name, well, I haven't published anything. I haven't moved my ad walks up to being able to be published. Not until the album starts to get released, I start to get some traction and an audience that actually appreciates my work. So the name of the album is actually called The Social Contract. The Social Contract. And the tracks on there are going to be extremely awesome. There are 22 minutes, 6 tracks, over 5,000 words, all in that time frame, that just completely blow through and destroy cultural barriers, to then rebuild them up again by staying true to the vision of unity while exercising our own unique individual identities. So with this track, what I really want to do to make it hit off and make sure that it works, it's going to take a little bit of funding, but I think I can get it there, and I think it's possible. So to be able to get a local audience that I'm looking for, I actually want this track to be very special. People will regard it as the 1, 2, 3 album. Now, that's not the name of the album, as I just told you. It's called The Social Contract. But people will think of this album as the 1, 2, 3 album, because it'll be priced at $123. The reason for that is because it is literally the first few steps for being able to save humanity. And this is something that some people are contemplating, some people are not. And a larger, widespread awareness, many people are thinking, how are we going to do this? You know, it's not going to happen if we don't band together. And people just don't understand the extremities of it, because it is a conflict that we are all very quickly approaching, and we may or may not have a solution to that problem when it comes to being able to awaken us and act together and unite souls as one. But I have a solution here. So that's what the social contract is. It is literally an instruction manual with details on the terrible, terrible things that we are going through by resolving this epidemic that we are going to be experiencing, by creating a just human race who cannot be controlled or manipulated by foreign powers, simply because we all agree to be a better human being. And that's just it. So this album that I'm going to be releasing, I need to be able to make sure I promote it and it spreads like a wildfire when it comes to word of mouth. So in order to be able to get the first edition of the track out there, the reason why it's $123 is because number one, it's going to support me in my health journey. I need to get my health back if I'm going to do anything. Number two, it's going to support my friend's nonprofit, 501c3 nonprofit, which is basically an organization for being able to help creative artists, entertainers, you know, people who are interested in personal development and business. All of these collaborators that are going to cooperate together are going to be at this nonprofit called Advancement Initiative. So I'm interested in being able to take a small sum of the profits that I make here and devoting that to his business so that we can be able to grow that, because he's been doing it for 3 to 4 years now, and you know, he hasn't made the progress that he's been looking at. So if he wants to take it to the next level, he happened to meet the right person to be able to do that. So, you know, maybe it'll develop into a business partnership of some sort, simply because I put him on by forwarding this idea, and, you know, he helped me in being able to make this happen, you know. But first we got to have our visions align and understand each other and unite souls before we fully participate in our roles, which is what we're going to be working toward right now. So one is my health, two is this nonprofit organization for creative artists and collaborators. Number three, I would like to be able to open up my own record label, because I believe when I do that, I'm going to be able to get a lot of other people who are interested in my vision and my mission to be able to be like, yes, you know, I just need the opportunity. And then because we have all the studios that we're going to be opening with Advancement Initiative, it allows other people to join the family. So I've been thinking, since this movement is called Mode Evolution Operation, uniting all nations is our slogan. Then the group would be called the Motivate Familia. And you know, I already have that as like a giant family that I'm really focused on being able to bring into the picture. But you know, the Motivate Familia, or just simply Motivate, could definitely be really cool thing to go by. Or Motivate could be an alias that I go by when I bring these really conscious rap things, and then Michael Orthosada would be separate. But I'm thinking of keeping it all together, you know, because I'm a solo artist. Motivate could be like really a small group, and then the Motivate Familia could be like a sub record label with that. So the Motivate Familia really is focused on being able to bring the entire world together. So that's probably what the Motivate Familia will be. Same with the Motivate, it's just the movement. But when you put it into a solid structure, yes, I would love that to be my record label, saying Motivate Presents, or the Motivate Familia Presents, literally meaning we're putting other people on. You feel me? So that's something that I want to do. So we got health, the a nonprofit, and the record label. On top of that, I want to bring people together for a concert. This concert will be a private concert held in this area, the areas of the South Bay, right? All of these cities that are closely knit together, like Torrance, you know, Hawthorne, Redondo, Compton, Inglewood, you know, just all of these places that are going to be along the bay. You know, there's so many, like Long Beach, you know, Santa Monica, Manhattan, Hermosa, all those beaches. And if I'm forgetting anybody, you know, or not including them, my mistake. We're gonna bring them all together and literally storm this place by putting up posters and gluing them to poles and stuff. And I really have to make this happen with other people, which I'm just dreaming up this idea that we film doing that in the night with night vision, putting up those posters, having a great time. Maybe we have walkie-talkies or some shit, and we're just having so much fun. And with this night vision camera that's focused on everybody, you know, we start off in one massive group, and then we go off on a run, and we hit up different cities by like taking a van or a truck or something in the middle of the fucking night. And then when people wake up, they see this and they're like, whoa, what is this? So I'll literally create like a little 5x7 print, which is really expensive, so it'll probably be like a little 4x6, not very big at all. This is 4, this is like 6 is my hand, like a regular photo. And then paste that somewhere, and people literally rip that off and take it home with them, or it gets ripped off and thrown in the trash, or it stays there and other people are like, okay. And when they take it home with them, they share it with all their friends, and they're like, look at this, we got to check this out. And it's going to be like, the advertisement's going to say what I'm telling you right now. I'm creating the 1-2-3 album, which is literally going to help me in resolving my health challenges, helping launch this or build this nonprofit that accepts creative artists for free to be able to produce their own music and stuff. Number 3, open a record label so I can release this album, or the EP. Number 4 would be being able to have that private concert, and number 5, being able to have a special edition album release that you get to be able to have access to for this EP, in which case there's only going to be 1,000 copies, is how I envision it. And that will include a different way of being able to market, promote, well, maybe not market and promote, but the art will be different. The order of the tracks will be different, and there's just a lot more that's going to go into this when we really put it into the picture. It's going to be really, really cool, and those people get the privilege of being able to have access to that private concert where they get to meet me, and the way that I want to do this systemically is release one track after the other. There's about 3 singles that I'm going to release, and this is what I'm imagining is I do the first one, which is the social contract, and then the second one, which is awareness you can see, and then the third one is going to be something that completely flips your mind. After you see the awareness and how the process works and the solutions, we go on to the problem, and then it's like mark, and it opens up to the release of the rest of the album, and that'll be 6 tracks. And I really believe that once we set all that in motion, like literally the first track is saying, here's a solution I have. Second track is saying, here's me, I'm going to introduce myself in this process that I've developed for you to take part in. And then track 3 is like, we are totally screwed if we don't come together, right? And then bam, it falls through with, we have to figure this out, because we're setting in for danger if we don't. I think this will work. So 3 single releases and then an EP, and literally pasting those up to start the initial movement so that people catch on to the name of Motivop. They catch on to the social contract. What's this about? And we literally start a Kickstarter or something where people can be able to contribute the amount asked, which is $123 or less, to be able to help fund this, and then they'll get additional incentives, like things that I've already done, like my courses, my online courses, or my movie, like access to exclusive content that they wouldn't get anywhere else. And when I do that, I think it's going to be really interesting, because I just have so much information backed up that other people can benefit from and learn from and take and put into action, that once all of this shifts and starts and begins, I'm going to open up my podcast too, so that way when I have an actual format to be able to do this, I have a platform to be able to remark on it. And because we're like in the beta of the Advancement Initiative location, more people are going to be coming in, and I'm going to have my podcast steady flowing. We're going to be having interviews with great people who fly in maybe, to be able to meet me. And I should have a place to be able to stay in, because currently I'm homeless, right? So by then, and with that first $123,000 that I make, I'm literally going to fly out to be able to get my health taken care of, and then come back. And what I want to do from there is something so incredible that it will just shock the world, that it's just like, you only have one at bat, man. You have one at bat. So we're trying to keep things in the works so that we can keep the momentum going, so the world knows what we're here for and how we can hold together. And they also know the story of what ties us together, what ties us as wolves and souls, as individuals, because when we create that bond, we really know what's possible. So if people understand I'm an example, I'm a role model, I'm a practitioner, then they can start to do it for themselves too, because they know what's possible, right? So literally, it is my job, and I've got to make sure this works the most practical and creative as possible. Most creative and practical, because a lot of times we emphasize, you know, tactical, and I think there's better ways to be able to innovate when it comes to doing all this. And you have to be up in clouds dreaming, but you also have to be walking and eating the dirt so that you really taste what you're worth when you're doing these things. Otherwise, none of it's going to work. So I think we have some really big major steps to do, and it's all going to take careful planning, because, you know, one of the #1 skills you can ever have is creating organized plans of action. And when I'm doing this, I'm going to be releasing, you know, daily YouTube videos that people can be able to watch and tune into, which are going to be 7 videos a week, basically, with their own dedicated playlists. And people are going to start to tune into that. I mean, I have everything in lockdown. You know, I'm just ready to go, but I don't have the money. So being able to get the money to be able to put, you know, 1,000 posters out is going to cost like $190. And just posters, like, that doesn't have anything to do with the copyrights, you know, the performing rights, signing up with a performance PRO company, and being able to get my stuff out through a distributor. Like, there's so much you have to do as an artist to be able to get everything in check before you release a work of art. And I'll tell you, it's not easy. It's not easy doing all this. But once you get started, you can't stop and start and stop finish. Like, it doesn't work that way. That's not how life works. Life is just not one straight line. It does not all happen at once. You do not get to the end and get the result that you're looking for. You got to keep pressing forward. Life is like one continuous cycle, and there are multiple cycles that you have to go through in order to be able to be insightful. So I really want you to understand. I want you to understand that truly, if you're seeking truth, you have to be found. You have to understand what makes you whole and complete. And as you tune into your emotions, your feelings, and you start to understand and compliment yourself and accept yourself for who you are, and then focus on your strengths while also accepting your weaknesses, that's what self-awareness is going to do, to open up the doorways in between. So when you do that, you follow the light at the end of the tunnel, and you fill yourself with that light because you followed it. You learn to follow through with your own commitments as a leader, and when you get to the end of that tunnel, you actually seal it behind you, and you'll find that your container is full with your soul. And all you have to do is share it with the world. All right, so I hope that this is some inspirational piece of content that helps you today. You know, I love you. I love you. I love you. I don't ever ask that you follow me or do anything like that. But really, you know, I learned to follow through with my own commitments as a leader. If you want somebody who is somebody that would be good to connect with and watch and pay attention to, so you can model after, you know, I'm not going to say that that would be me, but I would love to have you come walk with me on this adventure, because we haven't even started. All right, have a blessed day. Take care of the world. We'll see you.